Good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is Biscuits and SEC Live. This is show number 78 for us. We are approaching 80 shows now as an organization. We absolutely love doing this. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We got a lot to talk about tonight. There is NCAA tournament. We got March Madness. We got weekend 2 coming up. We'll talk about weekend 1, what happened there, get into the Sweet 16, what's going to happen in Sweet 16, talk a little bit about going forward towards the Elite Eight. And then we'll get into some SEC baseball. And we've also got a couple of news stories we got to talk about. We got Will Wade potentially coming back to LSU.
Yep.
Hubert Davis out at the University of North Carolina. So there's a couple of SEC coaches whose names have floated up to the top there, which we will discuss as well. So, Hammer, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. It's a lovely, fantastic time of year with March Madness, SEC baseball, springtime. I'm sure down where you're at in Texas, things are in bloom. Surprisingly, up where I am in Colorado, things are also in bloom. We've been crazy hot and dry, and grass is greened up, trees are blooming, so it's great.
Feels like spring for sure. We got baseball is really heating up. We're headed into weekend 3 now of SEC baseball, SEC on SEC violence, which we will get into in a little bit. It's been a lot of fun so far, a lot of surprises as well. Texas was on the brunt end of a big surprise on, I think it was on Tuesday, last night, or maybe it was Monday night. But anyway, a lot going on here. Biscuitsandsec.com/newsletter. As always, sign up for the Morning Biscuits newsletter. Hammer got that one out today, and plenty of stuff in there. It is free to sign up, so be sure and go ahead and sign up there. Biscuitsandsec.com/newsletter for the Morning Biscuits newsletter. Hammer, let's dive right in here to March Madness. So weekend 1 did not disappoint. We had a lot of interesting games, a lot of fun games that we can go through here. One thing to mention, this is kind of a trend we're seeing. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but we're seeing a lot fewer upsets. I don't think we had any upsets past an 11 seed. So 12-5.
High Point.
Was there a 12-5? So High Point was a 12-5?
High Point was 12, yeah.
So that was the only one. 13 or below, right?
Correct.
And we've seen that before. We've seen the 13-3. We've seen the 14-2 or 13-4. But we're seeing fewer and fewer of those. So not exactly sure what that means. Maybe it's the NIL era. Maybe it's the transfer portal era where we're just seeing kind of cream rise to those higher schools when we're talking about basketball. But we're still seeing them here and there, but it just seemed in the past, and there's statistics to back this up, that right now, for over the last really 2 years, we've seen much less upsets. So kind of an interesting trend. We'll see if that continues over the next couple of years. But we've got, of the 10 SEC teams that made it into the NCAA tournament, we've got just 4 that remain. We've got Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, and Tennessee. Texas, pretty impressive here. All right, they won the play-in game, 11 seed, won 3 straight now to get to the Sweet 16. Alabama as well, impressive. I mean, Rick, you can talk your smack, my friend. We boss man, me last week, I was saying I picked Hofstra to take him out round 1. And that didn't happen. And now the Tide are in the Sweet 16, even sans their second leading scorer, Aiden Holloway.
Yeah.
So impressive what Nate Oates has done to get them to that point. Give me some of your thoughts, Hammer, on weekend 1 and getting us to the Sweet 16.
It was a good weekend. I think, like a lot of people, I probably, especially at this point in my life, being an extremely casual college basketball fan, meaning I watch precious little until March. I think the upsets are really fun and cool, and part of me does miss them or miss the storyline of the Cinderella team, especially, because if you get to the first weekend, you get into the Sweet 16, then it's just multiple days of nonstop media coverage, and you get to kind of know the coach or the players or whatnot. That said, I also just like to watch fun basketball, So yeah, sure, it's great to root for a Cinderella, but especially for someone like me who's not watching a ton during the season, like if there's a close NCAA tournament game on and it happens to be between, whoever, Kansas and St. John's rather than Kansas and Northern Iowa, I don't care that much because it's a close basketball game. It's like I think people get caught up in the, I don't know, just outrage and, it used to be better. Okay, sure, maybe, yeah, but like a close basketball game with everything on the line is still a close basketball game. And we had plenty of close basketball games.
Yep.
Down to the wire. So I had a great time. I thought it was fun, a good weekend. Tough to see Florida go down like that, but at the same time, it's like, man, it was a cool story for Iowa. Like the kid, can't even remember his name. He's a Spanish kid from Spain. Hits that three. Followed that coach from his previous stops. I was in the Sweet 16 for the first time in like 20 years. Like it's awesome. Again, yeah, I was not a Cinderella, but it's a good story. So I thought it was a good weekend, and I thought the SEC really held their own. I mean, I don't know what the word out there is or what people are saying. I haven't really been paying attention to it, but like, dude, you got, 25% of the field left at this point is SEC teams. And I think overall the league is like 13-6. So if you count, Texas play-in win. So they're playing really well. Collectively, most programs won their first round game with the exception of Mizzou and Georgia. So like, pretty good showing, I would say. So I thought it was a good, really fun weekend. Excited for this coming weekend, because I think that's the other thing too. Like people kind of forget this. It doesn't always happen, but when you do have a Cinderella, at some point the glass slipper shatters, and that might be in the Sweet 16, Elite Eight. Very rarely, sometimes it happens in the Final Four, but you usually run into somebody who kind of steamrolls you. With this being a little more chalky, like, dude, these matchups look awesome, man. You got 1s and 4s, 1s and 5s, 2s and 3s, like really, really good teams. As you said, Texas being the lowest seed left at 11, and that's they're obviously a power conference team. I mean, hardly a Cinderella. Iowa's a 9 seed, but Iowa, Nebraska, I mean, that's amazing. Nebraska's in their first Sweet 16 ever, just won their first tournament game ever. And those two like schools are basically a mirror image of one another. So that's great that they're playing each other, and all the hardcore Midwestern folks can enjoy good basketball. But Michigan State, UConn, Duke, St. John's, Illinois, Houston, Arizona, Arkansas, Michigan, Bama, like these are heavy hitting matchups that I'm excited for. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think March Madness rules. And fair point here, Mike. I didn't even realize, but the Big Ten has 6 of the 16. So 10 of the 16 are coming from Big Ten and SEC, with Big Ten getting 6 teams into the Sweet 16. So kind of similar to football. It seems like the SEC and the Big Ten are kind of gathering up all the all the money and all the good programs. And,
the Super Conference, right?
Having their way.
That's impressive, Mike, but it's not as impressive as 4 from the SEC. No, that's impressive for the Big Ten. This is an interesting stat. So I saw this. Somebody, WTF Stats tweeted this out, so I need it to be double checked. But I think what they have is accurate. First Sweet 16 since 1954 that does not include Kansas, Kentucky, UCLA, or UNC. All these big time programs, right? So we were talking earlier at the outset of the show, like maybe statistically there's stuff behind it to say that we are having less upsets, but still been a fun tournament, and at the same time still a lot of interesting storylines, different things going on. But we don't have as many of these powerhouse programs. I mean, those are except for Duke in that list, like those are the 4 powerhouse programs that are, in college basketball and have been since John Wooden era, right?
Yeah.
So to not have those teams in the Sweet 16 is pretty incredible. It means we're going to have, a lot of the, like, for instance, Nebraska. You mentioned Nebraska. How awesome would it be to see Nebraska or Iowa, either one of those two that is in that game in the South region in the Sweet 16, either one of them to move on to the Elite Eight would be a really cool storyline.
Yeah.
St. John's. Is Rick Pitino able to take St. John's past the number 1 overall seed in Duke and get them into the Elite Eight? And if they get to the Elite Eight, you very well could have Michigan State and Izzo, and you get Pitino, Izzo, 2 of the greatest coaches of all time in college basketball, playing each other in the Elite Eight for a chance to go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
How awesome would it be?
That'd be great, especially given, again, like I don't watch a ton of college hoops during the regular season anymore. I used to watch a ton when I was growing up, and it just comes with time. I'm not blaming anybody, but like Coach K, Jim Boeheim, Jim Calhoun, Roy Williams, like Larry Brown, a lot of these guys that kind of made the sport, if you think about it. I mean, certainly it was before one and done and all that, guys would stay longer. And JJ Redick spent 4 years at Duke. And, I watched a lot of Duke basketball during that time because, you knew everybody on their team. But again, those coaches were kind of the stalwarts. Rick Pitino's in there, Izzo. So to see those 2 guys, if they could pull it off, square off in the Elite Eight in the year 2026 would be pretty freaking cool. Just that they're both still getting after it despite all the nonsense that the sport has turned into in a lot of respects. The fact that those 2 guys are just like, whatever, man, like we're just going to keep rolling with it, keep coaching, keep winning games.
Go
yeah and I would put Cal into that as well. Like Cal's been around a long time now. I mean, you could say he's way into NIL before NIL was around, so maybe he was better prepared for it. But man, I got to give the guy credit because he kind of got run out of town at Kentucky and has done a great job in 2 years at Arkansas. And it's just cool to see guys like that have done what all those guys have done that still just like to coach basketball. And yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lesson there, I guess, a little bit of just like, man, if you're doing something you love, like just stick with it instead of kind of whining and complaining about all the justifiably dumb things that are going on.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, go down here too to the Midwest. You got Tennessee and Iowa State, and you got Michigan and Alabama. Now, could be getting ahead of ourselves here a little bit, but imagine Alabama beats Michigan, and then Tennessee beats Iowa State.
Oh boy, yeah.
So you got Rick Barnes, who hasn't been to the Final Four since TJ Ford in 2002 with Texas.
2 or 3.
He's been trying, and he's gotten close, but he can't get back there. And all the guy does is win regular season games. I mean, he's won at Texas, he's won now at Tennessee, but in the postseason, he just can't get over the hump. So if he's able to get past Iowa State, if Alabama's able to get past Michigan, you basically have third Saturday in October, right, for basketball.
That would be fun.
In the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's play the meme, right? Like, I hate Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't like Auburn, but I hate Tennessee.
Right.
That rivalry is heated. So to watch that in the NCAA tournament, I mean, it could be Michigan. Michigan could win that game, no doubt about it. That's an incredible basketball team, very well coached. And Iowa State could win as well. Iowa State, same thing, very good basketball team, very well coached. Looking at the bracket and seeing what could happen and some of the storylines that could come out of it, that would be so much fun to have Tennessee and Alabama be playing for a potential spot in the Final Four. And we'll get to this a little bit later too, but Nate Oates, he's one of the names that has been floated for the North Carolina job. So could that be his last game at Alabama? Who knows? I know, Rick, you're not going to hear that, but I do think he's found a home in Alabama. I think that's, I'll go out and say that. I think he really likes being there, and he's built a winner, a program that I think can sustain. I think that if he just stays there, they're going to be in the thick of it in the SEC and in the NCAA tournament for years to come. So,
yeah. I mean, on the other side of that coin, Dusty May from Michigan has also, been
true.
At least speculated. Again, I think all this, especially while these guys are actively coaching, is just that, speculation. There's probably not been any real contact yet. Mike brings up, another guy who's still coaching, Otzelsberger from Iowa State. So a lot of guys that are still active in the tournament have been mentioned because it's UNC, and you have to imagine, somebody with a really good pedigree is going to take that job, and a lot of people are going to get contacted. So it's just a matter of how many guys say no versus, who's the first one to say yes. But probably all those guys and more are going to be connected with that in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I think you're right. I mean, I think Nate Oates has found a home there. I also think similar almost in a way to what happened to Lane Kiffin, where it's like, he's got a good thing going at Bama and he's got a home there. But if you are actually the guy and you get the call and they're just asking you to sign the dotted line to be the coach at North Carolina, that's a tough thing to pass up. So that may never come to it because there might be guys, ahead of him, they get the call. But I would say, based on his track record, whether he stays at Alabama or goes elsewhere, at any point down the road, I would just trust Nate Oates to win basketball games wherever he is, because that's what he does.
Yeah. They're just going to win, baby. I'm with you. Well, some of the best games to me out of the first round, St. John's, Kansas, incredible game. St. John's wins by 2 over Kansas. Iowa over Florida. We talked about that one a little bit earlier. I had Florida in the Final Four. I thought they were going to do it. And I also thought, hey, they come back from what it was like 12 down, I think. I mean, I watched that whole second half. Come back from 12 down, 3 at the end of the game.
Yeah. And we talked about this leading into March Madness. Again, we're not coming from experts here. This is pretty simple analysis. But Florida did not have Walter Clayton.
Yeah.
And this was a game where it's like last year, these were the games where, because it happened multiple times. I mean, Florida almost lost to UConn last year. They almost lost to Texas Tech last year. And then, of course, in the final. So I can think of 3 times off the top of my head where Walter Clayton kind of just put the rest of the Gator team on his back,
took over,
willed them to a victory. And in this game, especially after the Iowa kid hit the 3, there was like 4.5 seconds left. So in my head, I was thinking, I was like, I think Florida could win this. And they didn't even get a shot off. It was just like, oh my gosh, you don't have a point. Like, you don't have you don't have that dude who knows what to do, who's going to remain calm and be clutch. They just totally panicked, ran down there, and didn't even get a shot off. So it's like, oh yeah, you're missing your guy, and it comes back to bite you when you're, they're really good players, but what's his name, Condon and Houck or whatever are towers. Like, they're not carrying the ball up. They're not the ones, unless you're going to run some type of play. But with 4.5 seconds, like, you kind of need your point guard to be the guy. And if you got, a 6'11" and 6'9" guy as your main scorers, that's a tough place to be when you're 4.5 seconds left and at the opposite baseline. So that was a tough one. But shout out to Iowa. That was a good win for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, got to give credit to the Iowa athletic department. I mean, you hire, the new coach. I'm forgetting his name right now.
McCollum, I think.
Yeah, McCollum. You hire McCollum after you've had a coach for, 20 years or something? I mean, Iowa doesn't like to fire anybody.
And McCaffrey did well there, at least regular season wise. Frank McCaffrey was a legend.
He was a legend. He won a lot of games, and they ended up letting him go. And that was kind of the argument. Is like, are you going to do any better at Iowa? Can you do any better? And to me, that's one to now like raise up and put on the pedestal and say, this is why you expect better of your athletic programs, and you put the resources behind it to do it, right? No matter who the program is, all the opposing fans always say, well, they need to be put in their place. They need to know who they are, right? Like this is who they are. They're only ever going to make around a 32, or in football, they're only ever going to win 9 games at best. That's going to be their best season. It's like, well, I don't know. How about you look at Iowa? Go look at Iowa. Iowa had a coach there for close to 20 years, if maybe over 20 years. It was around that, and couldn't really get to the Sweet 16. Had trouble getting back. Had trouble getting that program to the next level. They let him go. They hire McCollum, and boom, Sweet 16. And it was hard to get there. They almost didn't get there, but they made it. So always expect more is what I'm saying. If you're a fan of a certain team, expect more from your coaches, from your athletic department, and demand to win.
Unless you're Arkansas football.
If you're Arkansas football, just keep the status quo and try to keep your fans at bay until you can pay the lowest possible buyout.
Just kidding. That was a low blow from an Aggie to the Razorbacks. But keep dreaming big, Arkansas. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about it? I mean, we've kind of been talking about it, but we've got 4 SEC teams playing. Do you want to get into just looking at not even necessarily like our brackets, but Michigan, Alabama. So Michigan's 8.5-point favorites here. It's kind of interesting, and looking at some of these, we can get into actual numbers, but the trends on these, it does look like, again, coming from a casual, I don't, this is probably obvious to those of you who really do follow it, but it seems like kind of the run and gun style is in, just looking at the points per game that teams are scoring and that they allow. I'm like, oh dang, like Big Bama. Time. I know Bama runs wide open, but Bama averages 91 points a game and allows 82. Michigan 87 points a game, allows basically 70. Tennessee scores about 80 a game and allows 69. Iowa State 82. So like all these teams that are left are scoring 80 plus and typically allowing like 70 to 80. So I think the 3-ball is, obviously kind of the reasoning behind that. Everybody shoots a billion of them these days, but again, not super hard hitting analysis here, but that's kind of the key to this game against Michigan, right? I mean, Bama, when they hit the threes that they take, is incredibly hard to beat. When they don't, then, not that they're easy to beat, but they're very beatable.
Right.
So I think that's kind of what it comes down to. I mean, I'm not going to act like I know enough about Michigan to say how they're going to lock Bama down. I think Bama will probably kind of control the tempo the way they want because they're really good at that. But it's just a matter of when they get the open looks, do they hit them?
I think that's just a general rule about basketball right now, period, especially in college basketball. Is all these teams we play, everybody just plays Golden State basketball now, right? Like shoot as many threes as possible, hit the 3, win game. Shoot 3, make 3, win game. That is the strategy for basically every team.
True.
I mean, look at Texas A&M. Texas A&M, same way. Buckyball, just fire away, right? Press, fire away. So that is what matters is the 3-ball. I'm interested to see what Bama's able to do against Michigan. This is a really good Michigan team. I'm going to be watching that game closely. Similar to Tennessee. Tennessee, interestingly enough, having them at only a 3.5-point favorite in this game, I think that tells you a lot. 6 seed Tennessee. Tennessee had their ups and downs this year, but gotten hot late, and you score close to the same amount of points a game as Iowa State does, right around 80 points. It is interesting. You're talking about these points, right? Like the 3-ball. I mean, we should go back and look. I know there's statistics on this, and folks I'm sure have broken this out who are much more stat nerds than we are. But I mean, I remember when I was in middle school and high school watching March Madness, and I was I was really into NCAA basketball. I was into every sport at that time, but NCAA basketball, March Madness, all that was super into at that point. I mean, I remember looking at box scores and teams in the 50s and the 60s, like high 50s, mid 60s. Like that was a normal college basketball game. And now we're seeing all these teams are in 75 to 85 range almost every game.
Yeah.
Which is a big change in what we've seen over the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah. I mean, even, what year was this? Like 2019, I think, the year right before COVID, when UVA won it all.
Yep.
They're kind of the antithesis to that. Like that was a slow it down, grind it out. And they were very successful, but that doesn't seem to be what most teams are employing anymore. It seems to be most teams like the run and gun. So yeah, I'm with you. Like, I mean, I would love to say Bama, but I almost got to think that at some point the no Aiden Holloway hurts, and a team like Michigan is just super balanced. They're one seed for a reason. The Big Ten has been mauling people in the tournament, as Mike pointed out, and Michigan was the top regular season team in the Big Ten. So I kind of think the Bama train loses, but again, I mean, would not shock me at all to see Bama hang 100 on Michigan and win by 10 because they're capable of it. So
A-Cup's got to stay hot, right? Like he's just got to take over. He's got to be
A-Cup's Arkansas. You're
I'm sorry. Who am I getting?
Yeah.
I mixed him up. What's the kid's name?
It's it starts with an L, I think.
This is our casualness showing right here.
This is, yeah. Shoot. I was just looking at his name.
I know. I mean, I had him in the help me out, Rick. Where are you?
No, Rick. No, I'm gonna get it. It's Philon. Yes.
That's who I'm thinking of. I could see his face. Yeah.
He's averaging 20 plus. Yeah.
Yeah. The 6'4" sophomore guard. Yes. How do you say his name? I'm just gonna butcher it.
Philon. I know that's what
No. But his first name too, Labaron. It's not LeBron. Labaron Philon Jr. Anyway, he's their leading scorer, and so he's got to stay hot. What's that?
I don't know. I'm saying LeBaron.
LeBaron, yeah. Gosh.
Who knows?
Forgive us. We're trying. But I had A-Cup in the graphic, and I had Philon Jr. in the graphic. That's why I'm getting confused. But Philon Jr. He's got to stay hot if Bama has a shot, because we've talked about it, right? Aiden Holloway had the issues with marijuana. He's not going to be able to play in the tournament. That's your second leading scorer. So Philon, he's been hot. He's got to stay hot, and he's got to be their Walter Clayton, this year, like Florida had last year. Got to rely on that kid and just feed him the rock, and he's got to get you 30 plus, I would think, if you're going to be able to beat Michigan.
Yeah, I would agree. So we'll see. I mean, he dropped 29 against Hofstra, and then only had 9 against Texas Tech. But that game, they just pounded Texas Tech into oblivion. So
yeah,
he didn't even have to do anything. Well, the next one, Iowa State, Tennessee. So Iowa State 3.5-point favorites. I sadly I overthought this. I had Tennessee in the Sweet 16 in my bracket at first, and then I decided I didn't have enough upsets. And so I said, I picked them then to lose to Miami of Ohio in the first round. So I've been a doubter of Tennessee.
Yeah.
But they've been playing great. Taking UVA was good this year, Virginia, and taking them out was pretty big. And they absolutely pounded Miami of Ohio in the first one. Similarly, Iowa State pounded Tennessee State in the first game, and then beat Kentucky by 19 in their second game. There's been a lot of that. Like, that is one thing, I guess, if you're going to criticize. There's been some blowouts with the games being chalk, but
yeah.
Tennessee's got a real good chance. This is actually, at least in the SEC games, this is the lowest point spread. All the SEC teams are dogs, and this is the closest one. again, what the heck do I know? But I think Tennessee's got a real shot here.
I absolutely think they do. And I think Vegas is telling us that, right? 3.5 for a 2-6 matchup it's not too crazy, but it's a little low. Like I would think a 2 seed over, playing a 6 seed would probably be at more like 5.5,
Right.
6.5. So Vegas is telling you they think Tennessee's hot. ESPN predictor has it at Iowa State 60% potential to win here. One stat to point out: rebounds, team stats. Tennessee typically gets 42 rebounds a game, 42 and a half a game. Iowa State 35.7. Okay, so on the glass, if I'm looking right, just high level view, I'm Tennessee. They love to crash the boards. I'm saying crash hard, right? We got to beat them on the glass, and we can beat them on the glass. We have to be crashing the boards. We got to be making sure that we get rebounds and out rebound them, and we should out rebound them. But let's get a couple more extra possessions out of this than even we normally do, because Iowa State outscores Tennessee typically 82.5 points per game to 79.4. So, as in all of these games, when you get to this point, possessions are paramount. And so every possession matters. And so if you're going to be able to find like that weakness, it's not a weakness necessarily, 35.7 rebounds a game for Iowa State. It's not that much less than Tennessee, but it is a gap of 7 that you're trying to get to. So if you're able to crash the glass, get a couple more extra possessions, if you're Tennessee out of this game, you're expecting it to be a close game, 3.5 Vegas, separated by just a couple points on their average for the season. So that's where I'm looking at Tennessee. If I'm watching this game, I'm saying, all right, how are they doing on the glass? How are they crashing the glass? Are they able to get, couple extra possessions here, first half, second half, in order to be able to come out on top?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, like, again, just looking at kind of the profiles of these teams, and you look at, Tennessee potentially having the rebound advantage and, wanting to crash the boards, and just looking at like the leading scorers here. And so Nate Ament for the Vols is like their second leading scorer. He's 6'10", big guy. So you're thinking, okay, let's get him to hit the glass hard. It's going to be tough though, and we'll see how they match him up. He probably will be matched up on Jefferson for Iowa State, who's a little bit more of a banger. He's like 240, 6'9".
If he plays, Andy Man pointing out to us here, he's pointing it out here. Iowa State still without Joshua Jefferson, so unlikely he plays.
The interesting thing though is Jefferson, and then even Iowa State's leading scorer, Milan. I'm not going to even attempt his last name.
Can't say his name either.
Milan.
Milanovic.
Momlia Milovic.
Mom Donnie.
Both of those guys, though, if Jefferson plays, both those guys can stretch the floor. Much more so Milan, but he shoots almost 50% clip from 3.
Yep.
But Jefferson's like 35. So I don't know. That I don't want to say it like makes rebounding random, but it can, because if you're pulling these big guys out, and then, or if you're just shooting long balls like all these schools like to do nowadays, well, you get long rebounds, and it's a little harder to like crash the boards when you got Milan running around who's 6'8" but shoots at 50% from downtown. So it should be a good matchup. I mean, I think Tennessee has a very good chance, as you said. Vegas agrees. But, I mean, Iowa State's good. They've been a really good team all year. The Big 12 is a good conference. Like, they're a 2 seed for a reason.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right. Is there any other games here? And, besides our well, I guess we ought to touch on Arkansas and Arizona, huh?
Yeah, we got Arkansas, Arizona, Purdue, Texas. I mean,
Purdue, Texas. Yep.
If you want to talk about it, I will just say I picked Purdue to win the national championship. So this is a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
Texas fans,
Texas
congratulations. Genuine congratulations. Like going from the play-in to the Sweet 16, Sean Miller's first season, like good year.
Yeah.
Purdue's going to smash you. Come on. The Boilermakers, all right?
Come on.
No chance.
Painter.
No chance. You've never seen a white boy like Braden Smith working the point out there like he does for Purdue. So that could be a quick game analysis that Purdue's just going to smash Texas based on my expertise in my bracket. But yeah, Arizona, Arkansas is definitely worth touching on. Because Acuff, I mean, he's been the player of the tournament, the player of the SEC, like the player of the last month. I mean, he's the most fun guy to watch out there. I saw somebody bring this up earlier. I think it was our friend Andy. But Arkansas, here we go. Arkansas's got a really good chance because of Acuff, but they also need to defend. I mean, Arkansas gives up 80 points a game, whereas Arizona plays a little bit better defense, only allowing 68. Arizona scores 86. Arkansas is averaging 90. So obviously, Arizona's the 1 seed. So Arkansas's got to figure something out defensively and try to, guard a little bit better. But we've seen this all the time, especially in college basketball and especially in March. If you've got that dude at point guard, we just brought up Walter Clayton last year. It's like sometimes they can cover up a lot of deficiencies that you may have because they're that guy and they're feeling themselves, and Acuff certainly is. So if they can defend a little bit, I mean, I think they got a real good chance. Although I think they're 7.5 point dogs too, which, man, I stopped actually gambling several years ago, but some of these spreads, I'm like 8.5 for Bama, 7.5 for Arkansas. I mean, it's March, dude. That seems a little steep, no?
Yeah,
throw some action on this.
Sweet 16, no less. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, the two areas I'm looking at on the tail of the tape here is the rebounding and the points against, like you mentioned, right? So Arizona playing that better defense, like you mentioned, but also rebounding. Arizona 43.1, Arkansas 36.3. So again, not like a crazy spread, right? 6 more rebounds a game, but again, in March and once you get to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, all that, a couple extra possessions can be the difference in the game. And so if Arizona is able to shut down Arkansas, on a couple possessions that typically Arkansas doesn't get shut down on, and then they're able to crash the boards and get a couple more rebounds, well, then at the end of the game, we're looking up and we're saying Arizona had 7 extra possessions, 7 possessions that typically they wouldn't have. And that can be the difference in a game. That can be the difference between a 3-point win and a 12-point win, depending on what you hit, a 2 or a 3 or whatever you get out of it. So that's where I would be concerned if I'm Arkansas. And like you said, Acuff has been the belle of the ball here the last month. Darius Acuff Jr., he's averaging 23.3 points per game. So got it, kind of like Philon Jr. at Alabama, got to have the game of his life. Like, lights are on. Let's go.
I know. I love the Arkansas, team, the Cal story.
Yeah.
I kind of think this is where their luck runs out. I mean, just looking at Arizona, they have 5 guys averaging double figures, and then their top 2 guys below them are at 9.3 and 8.8.
Yeah.
So they're just deep, which is not quite the case with Arkansas, right? You talk about Darius Acuff averaging 23. He's averaging, I think, 30 in the 2 games in the tournament. So, man, you're putting a lot of your chips in that guy's basket, which is a good basket to put them in.
Totally.
But when you go up against a team that can kind of run 7 dudes at you that are lethal, two of which, so one of the guys, like 2 of which coming off the bench, not going to act like I know these guys, but Toby Awaka and Dwayne Aristode or something, but they're shooting like 45% from three. So these are guys that are coming off the bench that in March, we've seen it a million times, right? Where just some random dude hits 5 threes in a game and totally flips it on its head. And again, those are not even, those are bench guys that are very much role players for Arizona that, could hurt you.
Sure.
And also
Steve Kerr, remember him? Where did he play?
Yeah. Arizona.
Arizona. That's right.
And also, like, Arizona is 34-2, and they lost 2 games all season. Like, they're really, really stout. So
really good.
I like what Cal's doing. If he went to the Elite Eight, that would be awesome. Or heck, Final Four. Like, just to see him swagging out in his press conferences, see Big Blue Nation melting down would be awesome. I think Arizona is like pretty salty. Only a team like Purdue could take them out.
Sure. Yeah. Or Duke, the ones that I have. Although Mike pointed this out, I wasn't able to catch most of this game, but Duke played like trash for 30 minutes against the 16 seed, and they could still win the title. And Siena had them on the ropes. So
thank you, Andy.
Boiler up.
I need that. I'll have to find it for next show. Assuming Purdue wins and gets to the Final Four, as we all know they will.
Right.
I need to find that old picture of Purdue Pete with like the sledgehammer in the, like, as he's like torn down a bunch of drywall and he's just holding the sledgehammer. See if I can find that and maybe make a quick graphic real quick. But
yeah, that's good stuff. Andy, man, yep, I'm with you. I got Duke winning it all. Mike, Arizona, eh? All right, that's a great pick, man. That's looking really good right now, and I think they're going to get. I'm rooting for the Hogs, but I think Arizona is going to get past the Hogs. I just think they're too dang good this year. We do have, so just to update, I was trying to figure out a graphic to like put up our brackets so that you guys could see everything, but it doesn't really fit very well on our screen, on our graphics, just based on it's hot dog, not hamburger. So it doesn't fit very well. So anyway, I'll just give you a quick update here. So I went 9 out of 16. I got 9 teams in the Sweet 16, 43.3%. I started out insanely hot day 1. And then after day 2, I think I was completely in the tank. I was like 96% on day 1. And then I was down to like 30-something% on day 2. And then fought my way back a little bit going into the Sweet 16. But as I said, my champion is Duke. And then Hammer's Sweet 16. Hammer's a little better. He got 11 out of 16. He's at 50.8% so far on his picks. And picked St. John's to get to the Sweet 16, which I was impressed with.
I did. I mean, you got to believe in Rick Pitino. Come on.
I should have known, man. The white suit, dude,
I know.
He's making moves.
I will say, though, I think maybe because it is a little more chalky. Because, typically, especially for me, like 11 out of 16 in the Sweet 16, I'm like, this is great. This is a good bracket. But I'm in the 50th percentile on ESPN. Like I'm doing terrible in all my groups. Part of that is because I definitely didn't do very, very well in the first round in particular. But 11 out of 16, I'm like, I think I'm doing pretty good. And then I look at all my groups and I'm not doing well.
I'm absolutely sucking. And I think so. My strategy for the last couple of years has been watch as little. We had, every year, little background here. Our family does a flush the bracket, and we do an ESPN bracket, a tournament challenge with everybody. There's 15 of us in there. Yeah. Family, close family, extended family, all that. And a couple years ago, this was 6 years ago, one of our aunts picked the teams based on which color or which mascot she liked. And she won the whole dadgum thing. And I knew all about these teams. I knew stats. I was doing all my research. I was head to head, blah, this and that, trying to really think about it. And I think I ended up, I don't know, probably 8th or something that year. And after that, I decided my strategy going forward was going to be to watch as little college basketball during the regular season as possible, get to the conference tournaments, watch some of those, and then just kind of pick on a whim. And that is still not working for me. I'm like 15th right now or something in the family bracket. So I think I'm changing my strategy again and maybe going to go back to watching more basketball next year so that maybe I can win one of these one time.
That's a good strategy. Again, it's like I feel like I'm doing well, but then I look and check the standings and I'm not. So I think that's just college basketball these days.
Par for the course, right? Okay. So I have no idea what that is. All right, let's go around the horn real quick. We have a couple of news topics I think that we need to hit on. Just to touch on real quick. One of them being, we can just quickly touch on this, but Hubert Davis, we mentioned this a little bit at the top of the show. We got a lot more of you watching us now. So to touch on it quickly again, Hubert Davis out at UNC today. Got to touch on it here. We're an SEC show, but that's a huge job. That is top 3 job in college basketball. So I think to me it's probably Duke, Kansas, UNC. Those are probably the top 3 jobs in college basketball. You could argue Arizona, you could argue UCLA. There's a couple others in there, but that is a massive job in college basketball. So Hubert Davis is out. Interesting to note, Pete Thamel talked about this on ESPN earlier today. UNC has typically gone within the family. It has either been a graduate of UNC, a former player, somebody who was an assistant coach there for a long time, and that goes all the way back to Dean Smith. They did it with Hubert Davis. Hubert Davis won a national title under Dean Smith. Hubert Davis, assistant at UNC. And he was good. I mean, his winning percentage was pretty solid. Like, you look at his record and you're like, first year he goes to a national title game. And then every subsequent year, it was good. It wasn't good enough, right? It's like above average. And so that is not UNC basketball. UNC is one of these places where it's Final Four or bust, kind of like in Alabama football, right? Alabama football is college football playoffs or bust. And really at this point, it's semifinals, national title or bust, right?
Right.
LSU, national title or bust, So very similar for UNC basketball. So going to be a very attractive job. But what I'm getting at is that it sounds like UNC, from what Pete Thamel and others have been reporting, might go outside the family and try to go find a coach that may not even have UNC ties. I think they're just trying to find a winner. I think at this point, they're just like, who has won during this era of NIL and transfer portal? And let's plug them into UNC, all the resources we got, the fan base, the fan support, all of this stuff, and give them the keys to the Ferrari and let them roll. And let's start winning again overnight. Let's bring in some players. Let's do it. And then, Final Four next year should be the expectation again. So interesting names have been floated. We've mentioned a couple of them here in our previous segments, but we have Todd Golden is one at Florida. He's been mentioned. Scott Strickland came out and said, not worried about it. He's sticking here. He wants to be at Florida. So that's interesting to note. Tommy Lloyd at Arizona has been mentioned. Dusty May at Michigan. Nate Oates at Alabama. TJ Otzelbarger, however you say his name, Otzelberger, Iowa State. Grant McCasland at Texas Tech. And the most interesting one that I have heard so far is Billy Donovan, 2-time national title winner at Florida. Has been in the NBA for a good clip now, at least 10 years. But hasn't had a whole lot of success there. So any of those names stick out to you as to where UNC goes?
Man, I it's so hard to know, I guess. Yeah, because it's like, I think all of them would be very good fits there. As you've mentioned, I mean, it's UNC basketball. If you've proven you can win at any number of the schools that those guys are at now, you can probably win at UNC. I mean, you got to compete with Belichick, but you could probably win at UNC.
Well, you already have built-in PR, though. Jordan Hudson's got it.
True. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know that they can go wrong. It's just, to me, again, I said before, it's a matter of who takes it, who's kind of willing to step into that. I'm totally blanking on where this quote comes from, but with great power comes great responsibility, right? Where it's like Nate Oates, for instance, and he's got a great thing going at Alabama. He's done a good job. UNC is a better job, but with great power comes great responsibility. He all of a sudden is on the clock and has, thank you, Rick, Spider-Man. There you go. So he's got to perform. Not that he doesn't at Alabama, but it's just a different level. It is. And it's the same for, similar situation to what I would say Alabama's experience with Kalen DeBoer. Washington's a very good job. He did well there. Now he's at Alabama. They expect more. I think Nate Oates would find himself in a similar spot. Now, again, I think he would win there, but it's just a matter of, is that what you want? Especially in the modern era when it is a lot easier to get kids to come play at Alabama or at Iowa State than it used to be when UNC kind of carried all the cachet. They still carry cachet, but $1 million is $1 million, whether it's coming from North Carolina or whether it's coming from Iowa State or like Arizona or Alabama. So I'm fascinated to see where it goes, because I think it'll be, especially in this modern era, a very interesting almost case study of, like what is the UNC job now? What do people view it as? Because I wouldn't be shocked if some of these guys aren't as interested as maybe they ought to be, or they would have been a decade ago. But they also might offer it to one guy and he accepts it, and they don't even get down the list because it is UNC. So I don't know how it plays out, but I think it'll be fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andy. Man, I'm in the boat with you. Billy Donovan should take that opportunity if it presents itself. Chicago's not a good place. Chicago, I mean, the Bulls just haven't won. He's been there for 6 years. It's kind of I was listening to somebody the other day talk about how the Bulls are in a rebuild, basically. So, how long does he want to wait out this rebuild? Does he want to coach through the rebuild? He hasn't been that successful in the NBA. Does he just want to stay there to try to finally break through in the NBA? Or does he want to come back to the college game where he's had a ton of success? But Hammer, you made this point in our pregame as we were talking pre-show. The college game has changed a lot, and it's the pro versus college sports thing where you've got, do you want to be recruiting all the time? Do you want to be lobbying donors to get all this NIL money? Do you want to be talking, with agents? You're a CEO now. And college, really, whether it's football or basketball, is, with the recruiting, with all of it, it's a lot bigger job. And it sounds crazy because it sounds like it's a step down, but with the way that everything is structured, college may be a more demanding job. You have a long offseason in the NBA. You have GMs, you have all those people who are handling all the player personnel. And, you might have a say in that stuff, but it's not your day-to-day job. And if you come back to college, everyone who's, you talk to any coach, it's 365 days a year. You don't turn this thing off. And you constantly have things that are coming up. So does Billy Donovan want to do that? It would reset his clock because he might be on the clock in Chicago. I mean, it's been 6 years. Like, I don't know how committed they are to him, but I don't think the Bulls are going to be good anytime soon, as far as I can tell. As little NBA as I watch, but I know enough to know that they're not good. So that, I think, is the question for Billy Donovan. Quickly move on here to Will Wade, because this is the big news of the day, and it is not a done deal yet, but everything that we are hearing, and I'm sure you guys are seeing the same, seems like Will Wade may be heading from Raleigh back to LSU. And wild turn of events. I mean, if you remember, let's take a step back and remember here, he was fired after he got caught on an FBI wiretap talking to recruits about different deals that he could get. It was all wrapped up in the whole like Nike thing. Yeah,
That's a good one.
Absolutely. I would love that. That'd be great.
He gets caught up in the Nike thing. Sorry,
yes.
I was laughing at that.
That is funny. So he gets caught up in the whole Nike thing where, I mean, it was basically like technically racketeering was being brought up as a potential charge. They were talking about potentially charging a couple of these coaches, including Sean Miller, who is now at Texas. Sean Miller lost his job at Xavier, I believe is where he was at the time. Or was he
Arizona?
He was at Arizona.
He was at Arizona, and then he was at Xavier, and then
he was
left Xavier for Texas. Yeah.
So Arizona's who let go of him. Well, Will Wade gets let go in this whole scheme, scandal, whatever you want to call it, at LSU, and he ends up at McNeese State. He wins at McNeese State, and then NC State picks him up. And now we're looking at a potential reunion between Will Wade and LSU. LSU coming back to Baton Rouge, and you mentioned this, but Governor Landry had something to say about Will Wade a little bit ago and him potentially coming back. So you can take it from there.
Yeah, well, we're talking pre-show, trying to read the tea leaves. And on one hand, I was just kind of thinking like, man, this is a little crazy. Like NC State, LSU, potato to me at least, no offense LSU fans, but like NC State probably has better basketball history. You want to debate the merits of forward looking, it's probably LSU and just the money in the conference and stuff. But like LSU basketball, I mean, is nothing to write home about, historically speaking. They're always going to be second fiddle to football, possibly baseball.
Probably baseball.
Years like baseball, which is totally fine. And anyway, I was just thinking like, man, I wonder what if Will Wade would be interested, or even why LSU. Like, I know their program's kind of a disaster right now, but just like, I don't know, you want to rehash it with the guy that you fired 5 years ago. And then I remembered that Governor Landry was very vocal about wanting to hire Will Wade recently, and Scott Woodward was the one that shut that down and said, we are not interested in this, because he was at McNeese in Louisiana. And Scott Woodward was like, no way, I'm not doing this. Shuts it down. Well, obviously Woodward has been ousted. Governor Landry seems like he plays a fairly big role in the LSU athletic department. So
he is wielding power
now. So now I think it's just a matter of, it's totally in Will Wade's court, is what obviously, the tea leaves are saying, is like, he's got an offer. NC State can match it or negotiate / try to keep him, but all signs are pointing towards him returning. And just, that little nugget about Governor Landry made me laugh, but also, just kind of jogged my memory of like, oh, that's right. This guy loves Will Wade. And they're also trying to hire the McNeese athletic director, or somebody that worked with Wade at McNeese is now either has already accepted or will be taking a role at LSU. So, I mean, the stars are kind of all aligning to bring him back. And it sounds like he wants that as well. Again, there's a lot of things that I don't know about both programs, but Will Wade, to me, it looks like has decided, again, barring change of heart, that LSU is the better place for him.
That's what it seems like. Sounds like NC State is hoping to keep him. They're planning to make a competitive offer in the next 24 hours is what reports are. Also, if you guys don't follow, I'm about to go follow them I just followed them right now. General Will Wade, at General Will Wade on Twitter. If you did not see this, everybody's bringing back the general accounts right now, which I love. The general accounts from like 4 or 5 years ago. Who was the quarterback that played at South Carolina that started it all? It was the kid who was the coach, and then they brought him into play because he had
Zeb Nolan.
Zeb Nolan, yeah. That's where it all started, was Colonel Zebulon Nolan.
Yes.
And just, dispatches from him as a Civil War guy on Twitter. It was the most ridiculous thing, but they were hilarious. And then it just spawned generals of all. Well, General Will Wade on Twitter just came out, and he looks like Napoleon Bonaparte, is kind of how, like a mix between an American patriot and Napoleon Bonaparte. And it says, "Dearest mother, I'm coming home. Slaughter a pig, fill the pitchers, and let the band play neck. General Wade. So,
oh man,
we will see if General Wade is coming back to strike up the band to play neck in Baton Rouge here pretty soon. But all right, let's move quickly. We are at an hour, so we're going to be going just a little bit over here on free football here at Biscuits SEC, which we love to do. But we do want to touch a little bit here on SEC baseball. We're not entering week 2. We're entering week 3. Weekend 3 of SEC baseball is on deck. We just got through weekend 2, which, pull it up here. Shout out to SEC baseball for this awesome graphic. Those guys do a fantastic job over there. So be sure, if you do not already, if you want to keep up with what is happening in SEC baseball, go follow at SEC baseball. So for weekend 2 here, a couple things that stuck out to me. One, Alabama sweeping Florida was impressive. You had Tyler Fay throw the no-hitter. That's right. Shout it out, Rick. Impressive. First time since 1942 that Alabama has had a no-hitter of a one pitcher, not a combined no-hitter, but one pitcher all the way through, throwing a no-hitter and sweeping the Gators, which is super impressive. I mean, look at that. You got a ranking next to your name, and Florida's just one of the great baseball programs in America. So sweeping them is no small feat. So Georgia also going 2-1 against A&M. That puts A&M in a hole. They have not won a series in SEC play so far this season. So Michael Early, he's a little bit worried again. And then also Mississippi State, Brian O'Connor is freaking rolling, man. He takes Vanderbilt behind the woodshed, sweeps Vanderbilt. Mississippi State is early on. I'm hearing a lot of chatter about them, about competing for a potential national title. And what did we say before this season started? Brian O'Connor, that guy is a stud. All he does is win. He brought a bunch of the kids over from UVA that he was coaching, and he's got Mississippi State rolling in year 1 right away. So a lot of baseball left to play. We'll see what ends up happening there. One other thing to mention, who was it that somebody beat Texas, came back from 7-0 deficit on Tuesday night?
U of H. Yeah, Houston.
Houston, you're right.
Who's not good. Houston was about a 500 team. And they came back on them, which was surprising because Texas has been balling. I mean, you see that
number 2.
Yeah, they went to Auburn and took 2 of 3 in a pretty raucous environment. There was some kind of funny chatter on Twitter because Auburn was breaking all sorts of, I think, attendance records for their basketball or baseball, program. And there was I saw some Crimson Tide fans saying, well, they got nothing else going on in March. So anyway, Auburn's a good program. The environment looked awesome. And Texas took 2 out of 3, including, the one that they lost was that error, the walk-off error where the center fielder let the ball go through his legs. So they took 2 of 3 and very easily could have swept Auburn on the road, who's, as of last week, was number 5. So
pretty daggum good. Yeah.
Yeah. Texas, as much as it pains me to say, given the snake that runs that program now, they're good and Schloss can coach. And so, them losing to Houston last night was wild. That's the second midweek game they've lost as well. I can't remember. It wasn't Texas State. It might have been UTSA. There was another Texas school that clipped them midweek very randomly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Slosh, maybe he's losing the locker room. I don't know.
I think he's losing. He's losing a step here with, he's got him at number 2 in the country, but these midweek losses, man, that's the canary in the coal mine. Okay. Watch out. Don't look at what's on my chest right here. Just Schloss is losing it. But two other quick things to point out here is, one, Mike just pointed it out to us. Paul Maneri gets fired at South Carolina. So he's done. Maneri era over quickly. He's already gone to the media and basically blamed South Carolina and the athletic department and the fan base. And, well, they were too impatient and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, dude, you were getting shelled and nothing you were doing was working. And one thing he did say that I kind of understood. He's like, I'm not going to let what happened here cloud what happened over the course of my career. It's like, okay, totally get it. You had a long career at LSU. It, for the most part, went well. You win a national title there. Like, all right, got it. Good. Yes, totally get it. But the way that he was talking about South Carolina on the way out, it was like, dude, you got fired after a year and a half.
Yes.
It was terrible.
Didn't even make it 2 years.
This was terrible. This was your fault. And you're blaming the athletic department and you're blaming the fans. Like, give me a break. Of course, they are impatient. This is South Carolina baseball. They have a proud tradition. They've got a couple national titles, not too long in the past, not very long ago. And they've fallen on a little bit of hard times, and you made it worse. Like, of course they were impatient.
Yeah.
What did you expect?
Well, and I think too, like, maybe Mike, you can chime in here because I don't know, times have changed. When South Carolina won those national titles, I mean, that was 15 plus years ago now, I think, or definitely more than 10. I can't remember. I think it was
2012, I think was the last one.
Yeah. So 10 plus years ago, and certainly times have changed. However, Clemson is very good. So that sticks in the craw of South Carolina fans. And B, a lot of these teams in the SEC that traditionally haven't been elite powerhouses are very good. I mean, look around. Like Oklahoma is in the top 10 right now. That's not a traditional powerhouse.
Nope.
Auburn is in the top 10. Not a traditional powerhouse. Alabama has been good the last couple of years. They're making the postseason. Not a traditional powerhouse. Kentucky has been ranked and good the last 3, 4, 5 seasons. Again, not a traditional power. Yeah. So I think if you're South Carolina, like, it's fair to have the conversation of what are the expectations, and maybe that's kind of what Maneri's getting at. And back-to-back College World Series titles or going to Omaha at the same clip of LSU maybe is not realistic. But making the postseason, being ranked in and out of the rankings year in, year out, like, that's very much in the realm of realistic expectations. And as you said, Maneri was just totally missing it. They got markedly worse. And this, to me, I mean, I don't even blame Maneri. I mean, he obviously takes some of the blame, but this is on Tanner, the AD, because he hired him. He hadn't coached in like 4 years.
Yep.
And he got run out of LSU. So that was just a bad hire. And
it was, the game passed him by. That's what it was. And, I know South Carolina fans, they have trouble, criticizing Ray Tanner for good reason, right? Ray Tanner wins. He was the head coach that won. Or no, that's not right. He was, who was the coach of South Carolina when they won those titles? Mike, you might be able to help me. Wasn't it? Yeah, it was Ray Tanner.
Okay, I don't remember.
Yeah, Ray. No, he won those back-to-back titles. He won the back-to-back titles in 10 and 11. So it's like, hey, this guy, he's royalty no matter what happens, right? But yeah, it's a bad hire. The thing about South Carolina is, and Mike, you make a great point here. Patience of the SEC is 0 when 13 of 16 teams are ranked. Yeah. And you're South Carolina. Like we just said, within the last 15 years, you've won back-to-back titles. Like, you should be in this every year.
And hey, shoot, another team to mention that traditionally has not been anything, Tennessee. Also a team, also a university, a program that South Carolina very much compares themselves to and does not care for. And they're rolling. Georgia, even Georgia's been very good the last 2 to 3 years, which, again, like, traditionally, I mean, look it up. I don't know, like, how many College World Series appearances does Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky have collectively? Like, it ain't that much.
Right.
But all of those programs over the last 4 to 5 years on the baseball field have been light years ahead of South Carolina, which is just not acceptable. And hey, they won a game after they fired Maneri. They got a SEC win
Yeah, they blew them out
against Arkansas, no less. So I don't expect, a like Angels in the outfield-esque turnaround here, or a major league style turnaround where they suddenly are good, but at least it energized them for a little bit,
Yeah. So my final thing, at least on South Carolina, is it goes to Mike's point. 13 of 16 SEC teams are ranked right now. The SEC is a baseball powerhouse, and it's also in the hotbed of baseball in America, the SEC footprint, right? Like, this is where people play baseball and people love baseball. And you're South Carolina. You have this pedigree from really not that long in the past of winning baseball and a great baseball tradition and fans that love the game. So of course they didn't have patience. Like, you need to be winning. And this is a program that should be pretty turnkey in order to get it back to where it needs to be. I mean, great example right now, Mississippi State. Yeah. Lamonis won baseball games and they were good, but they weren't up to Mississippi State standards, not where Mississippi State believes they are in the pecking order of college baseball teams. Well, South Carolina's in a very similar position now. Go hire a great coach, and within a year or two, Brian O'Connor's got him at number 6 in the country, right? Like, I don't know if you're going to hire a Brian O'Connor, but go hire a big coach and make some moves here, because this is a team and a program that should pretty quickly get back to contention with the right guy at the helm.
Yeah. And Lamonis won the College World Series and got cut, 4 years later.
Yeah.
And just speaking of patience, right? Yeah. Right. He won Mississippi State their first national title in any sport. And 4 years later was
get the hell out.
Yeah. And again, rightfully so, based on what he done since then. But there's not a whole lot of patience. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, the only thing on the baseball side that I did want to call out, I mean, you brought it up that Mississippi State swept Vanderbilt and how great, for Mississippi State that is. The flip side, Vanderbilt's 14-12 this year. So I don't know what the deal is. They were ranked preseason. Of course, Tim Corbin and Vanderbilt are always really good, but it seems like they're bad this year. And that it looks like they're trending toward a team that is just not going to make the postseason.
Well, and that's a good point to bring up. I think I saw some stats that this is, so far to this point, easily Tim Corbin's worst team at Vanderbilt. So not a great trend with 2026 where they're headed. But the other one to bring up is LSU. LSU preseason number 1. Depending on the poll you looked at, I think another poll had them at number 2. And they are now unranked. They have fallen precipitously. I mean, it's not as bad as Texas A&M last year, but it's dadgum close.
I was gonna say Texas A&M-esque.
I mean, it really is. So Week 1, I'm looking at their schedule right now. Friday, February the 13th. Whatever poll LSU is using, the polls I saw had them at number 1, but whichever one, maybe it was Baseball America, is the one I'm using. But they had them at number 2, so that's against Milwaukee. Well, then, I mean, 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, they fall to number 13. They lost to Northeastern. They lost to UL Lafayette. They lost two games. They lost the series to Sacramento State in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And then they're 2-4 in SEC play. They lost to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Vanderbilt beat them 2-3.
The team that you're just talking about is terrible. Well, LSU lost 2 of them, 2 games to that team. And then just this past weekend, they lose 2 out of 3 to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a good baseball team, but you lose, and that's at the box.
That's the box, yeah.
So, LSU not looking great this season, 17-9 overall. Just having a tough go of it. And we'll see if they're able to turn it around. I mean, if you trust anybody, you trust Jay Johnson. But there's been somewhat of a curse on the teams that make the College World Series final.
I know.
In their next season, and supposed to have all these, got all these expectations, spend a bunch of money, got all these players coming back, blah 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 blah, and it hadn't turned out well. It doesn't. Look, the other part of this too. this is the SEC, okay? This does not get any easier. You get Kentucky for this coming weekend, this series coming up. Then you get Tennessee the weekend after that. Then you get Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is, they're okay.
Yeah,
A&M,
pretty good.
We'll see. Mississippi State, SEC, man, 13 of 16 teams are ranked right now. It doesn't get any easier. So LSU's got to turn it around fast if they're going to salvage this season.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Well, let's close her up.
Yeah. All right. Let's first we are going to get to our Leach Coach of the Week, which is what we do every week here. So the Leach Coach of the Week, as many of you know, we've got over 100 of you watching us right now. So we really appreciate every single one of you watching us tonight. Biscuits and SEC Live, show number 78. We used to do the Muschamp Coach of the Week, but it didn't really seem to make sense anymore since he took the big-time big boy coordinator job at the University of Texas. And so we changed it up, and we wanted to honor Coach Mike Leach. Mike Leach, Coach of the Week is the name of this award now. We love Coach Leach. We miss him every day. He had so many great quotes over the years. I mean, there are so many we couldn't even go through them now. The mascots, talking about the different mascots, fat little girlfriends, wedding advice. If you have never seen the wedding advice video, please go watch that on YouTube right now, whether it's the wedding advice he gave to Alyssa Lang or years prior to that. We love Coach Leach here. So we like to give this award every week to a coach that best exemplifies the passion of Coach Leach, somebody who loved the game like Coach Leach and who is also a great coach, somebody who gives a good little quip to the media or what have you, or maybe, gives a good speech to their team, what have you. It's usually slim pickings during the offseason because this is a football coach award typically. We're getting into spring practice, so we're getting some good quotes from these coaches, but we got March Madness going on right now. So we're getting plenty of good fodder from the basketball arena. This one actually comes from somebody who's outside of March Madness, though, right now. He just got hired at Providence from USF, and he had a pretty funny quote in his introductory press conference. So this is your Mike Leach Coach of the Week.
I want to thank my family. Steve talked about it. My better half, my beautiful spouse here, Jordan, my son Jet, who you'll hear plenty throughout this speech. If you ever want to question my recruiting abilities, just take a look at my wife, Jordan.
So pat me on the back with how hot my wife is. Good for me. But also funny, he's gassing up his wife there, which is always a good thing. So this is Brian and Jordan Hodgson. That's who he's talking about, his lovely wife. It's beautiful family on the right there. So congratulations to Coach Brian Hodgson, now of the Providence Friars, for his first win of the Mike Leach Coach of the Week. We will be sure to get him the certificate and the trophy in the mail to him and his lovely family. I'm sure it will be displayed as he does interviews. He's a pretty daggum good coach. Also coached at Alabama. So that's where he actually met his wife. And
he was under Oates.
Yeah, he was under Oates from 2019 to 2023. Then he was the head coach at Arkansas State for a couple years, head coach at USF for a couple years, and now heading up to Providence. So far he's got a 654 winning percentage, 70 and 37. So guy wins games. Maybe we'll see him. I mean, Providence is a pretty big job. They've got a decent basketball history. So we'll see what he's able to get done up there. But congratulations to Brian Hodgson for his first win of Mike Leach Coach of the Week. Also, I see that you've got this graphic for Purdue Pete. So I'm just putting up Purdue Pete.
Yep. That's my mantra of March Madness. Purdue Pete is coming.
That needs some horror film music, like they're as he's breaking through the wall. We gotta figure out an AI video that we can make for that. But
we do.
All right, we'll move on here. Biscuit of the Week. We do this one as well every single week. We love featuring biscuits from around the SEC footprint. If you're watching us from the Midwest and you got a biscuit place, we'd love to have that too. We'd love to feature it. So we get these from Captain Biscuit all the time. Rick Wilmarth, our good friend of the show. But we would love to see from you guys as well. So if any of you out there watching would like to have your biscuit featured on the show, you can send us. Could be homemade, could be a local diner you like to go to and check out. We love featuring those on the show. This week, it comes from an old friend of the show, Emily of East Texas, who we have featured before. I want to say we featured her twice. She posts homemade biscuits and homemade, breakfast meals all the time. And I caught this one a couple weeks ago, and it just looked awesome. So here it is, Emily of East Texas. This was her biscuit plate, homemade biscuit plate that she made a couple weeks ago. It just has the whole smorgasbord, right? I mean, you got the hash browns right there with the ketchup. You got two flaky, beautiful, perfect, golden crisp top biscuits, scrambled eggs on the side there. And then you got the 2-meat plate there with the sausage links and the bacon to boot. So I saw this. I was like, this one 100% is going on Biscuits and SEC Live for our biscuit of the week.
Yeah, that looks fantastic.
Right.
That looks really, really good. I gotta step up my homemade biscuit game after seeing something like this. I've featured a lot on here that I've bought, not so many that I've made. So this will make me get back in the kitchen, maybe brush off the old drop biscuit recipe.
Yeah, that got me thinking too. You guys actually, you and your lovely wife got me for Christmas I can't remember where it's from. I think it's from Colorado, some sort of biscuit mix.
No, that
Virginia, maybe.
Yeah, I picked that up at the where is it? Well, I picked it up. I think it was at the Greenwood Grocery down the road from Mom and Dad. I can't remember where that, but it is from Virginia somewhere, I believe.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like mill biscuits, mill whatever. So the brand looks fantastic. I still have to make those. So I'm thinking maybe this weekend, maybe there will be a biscuit of the week from Boss Man next week.
For you're really good about biscuits every Saturday morning during football season. I think we both are pretty religious about that. But maybe with basketball, just maybe a little bit later in the day, because it's not you're not getting up and watching College Game Day, but the Elite Eight will be on Saturday, so it could be time to fire up the oven for that.
Great point. I'm a known brunch hater, so we'll see. I think I can do it. If it's homemade brunch, that's okay, but I'm not coming to your brunch. All right. So just anybody out there, I'm not coming to your brunch.
Boss Man's not interested in your bottomless mimosa.
Boss Man doesn't care about any of that. Yep, I don't. And I have a quota. There's a cap, 2 brunches a year for me. So if you want to invite me, if I haven't hit my quota yet, I'll come to that. But at home, I'm okay with doing my own brunch. So maybe I can do that for the Elite Eight. I can make these biscuits, and we'll see how they turn out. And I'm going to have to stay around the oven because I'm not the best baker. So I got to, like you, I mean, we got, sourdough hammer here. Look, again, from last week, look at that. Unbelievable.
Well, to make you feel better, I tried to make another loaf yesterday, and it completely flubbed.
Totally bombed.
Completely bombed. The second attempt at the sourdough loaf completely bombed. So
got it.
We're working, but we're not. I'm no expert on the baking scene yet. I'm trying to get there, but no, the next loaf. That's why you didn't see any pictures of it, because it rose about that much. And
yeah, we got to restart that sour, whatever the starter.
Yeah, something bad happened to it. I must have missed some steps, but it was a smushed loaf.
Okay. Well, we will get that fixed. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Over 100 of you watching, which is great during the off season. And thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight on your Wednesday night. As always, sign up for the Biscuits and SEC newsletter, which we call the Morning Biscuits newsletter, biscuitsandsec.com/newsletter. You can go sign up. Right now, it's free to sign up. Everything that's going on in the SEC, all you want to know about SEC athletics, SEC football, right now, basketball, baseball, all that sort of stuff. You can get caught up on all of that with the Morning Biscuits newsletter. So be sure to go sign up. Also, we will be back. Sorry, Rick. Last week, we were supposed to send out a tweet to let everybody know that we were not doing a show for SEC After Dark, but we will be back this week for SEC After Dark. So tomorrow, SEC After Dark, we will be on. That is at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. You can also check out these other shows from the After Dark Network, of which we are a part. Stephen Willis, our good friend over at Locked On Ole Miss, is the creator of the After Dark Network. Tuesday in the mornings, off-season After Dark. That is typically when that comes out. That is Mike Huseman, our good friend, who you saw some in the chat tonight. Also have SEC After Dark, as I mentioned. That is every Thursday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Bama After Dark, that is Jake Thomas, does a fantastic job covering the Tide. You can follow him at Bama After Dark too. Typically, he's talking Tide on Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern. And then the regular guys pod, a little bit of a irregular cadence right now, but you can be sure to check them out. Give them a follow to know when they are going to be coming back. So we are brought to you guys by the Steer Agency. As always, this has been show 78 of Biscuits and SEC Live. Thank you guys so much. We will see you tomorrow night for SEC After Dark and next Wednesday, to talk more March Madness on the next SEC Biscuits and SEC Live. See you guys later.
Appreciate y'all.